How about
There
now?
we go.
There we go.
Thank you, Leah. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I had mentioned to Matt before. I was like, every time that we're ready early, things go wrong, and I don't know why. Because I get everything set up, and it's all pretty, and all nice,
Of course.
and then it happens.
Something has to go.
Well,
how does it go in there? UA Kai Holly or Kai Hall?
well,
U Kai Hall.
that'll work.
I'll go with that.
AKA Jordan. How's it going, Jordan? Okay, so we've got Patrick, we've got Noah, we've got some Turbo Depths versus some Grixis Delver. I had mentioned before I fixed our audio real quick because apparently it had issues. Patrick gets to play some Legacy today. Good for him.
Yeah.
I was saying he never gets to because he's always working Fridays, so pretty cool to see him playing some Legacy, even though it looks like he's mulliganing. Okay.
Well, Turbo Depths, I think, is a deck that's okay with a couple mulligans, though.
Yes. So Turbo Depths is a deck that's looking for a couple of key cards. We need to get Dark Depths in play.
Yeah.
And then we need a Hex Mage, or we need a Thespian Stage.
Yeah. Some way to turn that into a 2020.
Yeah. And then we have small ways to protect the 2020 or get it through blockers, such as Sinjuri Step. It's a land that you can crop rotate for. So.
And speaking of, it looks like we're looking at Lotus Petal, crop rotation, possibly a Thespian Stage, and I can't tell what the other cards are inside Patrick's hand.
Let's say there's another Thespian Stage at the bottom of his hand.
Looks like he's tanking on whether he wants to keep that scry on the top or the bottom.
And I do think this is a Living Wish version of the deck where he does have that utility. Yep. So just play that Lotus Petal.
So get Petal stage in. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does have another stage.
Yeah.
Not sure what the black card. Oh, is that a Beseech the Queen? Beseech. The triple black to search for any card.
Beseech would be an interesting one.
I think it is. I'm not entirely sure though.
So second stage coming down.
And at this point, I think he needs to crack the pedal to get this Sylvan Library into play. Oh, okay.
I think, yeah, crop rotation seems okay here. Playing around Days, asking him, do you have the Force of Will?
Yeah, and he does have one floating mana. So if I had to guess, he's gonna grab either a Bayou or a. It looks like he'll grab the Bayou. I was gonna say an Urborg, but he seems to need mana.
I think Bayou makes a lot of sense here. I think you're going to see him cast that Sylvan Library that he just drew.
Mm-hmm.
So I would imagine that there's not much interaction that Noah has for this matchup outside of just the counter spells for the search cards.
Oh, it's an Inquisition of Kozilek. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Here we see Daze, Ponder, another Delver, and a Chain Lightning. Is that? Or is that a Lightning Bolt? I can't quite tell.
Lightning.
Chain Lightning. And 2 lands for Noah. So not the most exciting of hands at the moment.
Chain Lightning actually tells me that this is probably just blue-red Delver. Grixis Delver doesn't usually use things like Chain Lightning.
Yeah.
So no flip on the Delver. And he'll come in for 1 damage.
I think you're right.
I'm just going to switch that and just hope I'm right. So Blue-Red Delver has a much more aggressive strategy, meaning it still plays all the little creatures, but it wants to go face in the game. It's kind of a combination of a tempo deck and a burn deck.
Sure. Both Delvers flip, revealing Spell Snare.
Not what Patrick wants to see because he's got a Sylvan Library, and I think the other card in hand is Living Wish.
Yeah, both of which will be pretty easily countered by... Oh, wow. So...
Oh, this is... Okay, yeah, this is Temur Delver.
Where is our resident Rug Delver aficionado in chat?
I don't know.
Is he really going to miss it?
Probably. They'll have to catch it on the VODs. Alright. We've got a Ghost Quarter from Patrick. And he's got a very limited amount of time to make this happen. And where he actually played this in Jerry's step, it could mean he loses this race, even if he gets a Merit Lage up into play.
Yep. 6 damage is a lot of turn minimum. And that Goyf is already 4.
That it is. So Noah's going to let Sylvan Library resolve.
Now, Rug usually doesn't play many basics, so that Ghost Quarter might be closer to a Strip Mine.
I would argue that it is.
But it looks like that's going to be enough damage for the game. 2 flip Delvers gets there pretty quick.
That it does. Alright, and on our other table we have Aaron. Oh, wrong button. Aaron versus Terry. I'm not sure what Aaron's on yet. And then Terry. Is still there, I believe. Let's transition that.
All right.
I think both players might be on Grixis Delver. Not entirely
Definitely
sure.
possible. It does look pretty mirror matchy from what we're seeing at the moment. It might be something along the lines of check pile or something like that as well.
Yeah, definitely could be. True name Mimesis, and that'll come down and name Aaron. We've got
Aaron's brainstorming. We'll see what he gets out of this. It looks like Aaron's pretty light on cards at the moment, and
I see a Snapcaster, a Leovold, a Jace, and I think it's another Brainstorm. Welcome back. You as well, Jorgensen. Yeah, I hope you had a nice 2-hour break.
So I think with Aaron, you're looking at all he has are the 2 lands in play. So those 3 and 4 drops are completely locked out.
Yeah, he needs lands.
And that Wasteland is going to be a big problem as well.
Probably just takes him out of the game entirely.
Yeah. Unless Aaron has something spicy like an Innocent Blood or something in his list. This is looking pretty quick. Sure. There you go.
Scoop it up. So it looks like game 1 will go to Terry. Whoa. What am I doing? Dinner, YouTube, work deployments. Can't complain.
There you go.
All right, let's get back to our
amazing shuffle cam.
Our shuffle cam. So I've gotten to play this Turbo Depths deck a couple times in the last week. I've been enjoying it. It has very, very early and important lines that you take. In other words, if you don't find the optimal line, you probably just lost the game.
Sure. Yeah.
In a lot of cases. although it can be rewarding in the spot where not everybody can deal with the 2020 early.
Right.
Even in the first 4 turns, some decks just can't deal with it.
Yeah, it definitely can have that gotcha factor.
Yes. So the fact that Noah was able to get there as easily as he did was kind of surprising. Now I know that Patrick was on a mulligan and his hand wasn't quite where it needed to be, but maybe we can get a better game too.
Well, it looks like we've got opening hands being drawn. We'll see who keeps and who mulligans, and hopefully we'll be starting pretty soon. All right, so on Patrick's side, it looks like possibly 2 copies of Dark Depths, a stage, and a bunch of crop rotation effects. I believe I see a Elvish Spirit Guide.
There is an Elvish Spirit Guide. So I think what Patrick will try to do, since Patrick is on the play, is he'll probably keep this, play a Dark Depths, exile Simian Spirit or Elvish Spirit Guide, okay, I was gonna say just crop rotate it for like a Bayou or for something better.
Thinking not quite where he wants to be, taking a mulligan. Studanu.
Yes, we have Rug Delver.
We have Rug on camera.
We found him
for you.
We finally.
We figured that meant that you wouldn't be in chat.
Yeah. When it came onto chat, Matt even said he was like, "Where's our Rug Delver?" Or yeah, where's our Rug Delver guy? Where's he? Glad you could make it. And nice to see that you actually got a notification that we're up. Earlier he chimes in and he goes, "I didn't get a notification. What the heck? I didn't realize you guys were streaming. Just got back from Boston. Oh, to find your wooden leg. Nice." Always and forever our stream pirate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Lots and lots of lands from Patrick.
And
that may not be anything.
Certainly not an ideal hand as well.
I actually think this is much worse. The other one, so his other hand crumbled badly to a Force of Will.
Yeah.
This hand doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Super unfortunate. He just has not been able to draw a hand with anything. Really.
Yeah. You know, that is kind of the problem with this style of deck, is because you don't have the cantrips in order to set up the top of your library, the hands that you're able to keep are a lot less. You have a lot more things that you have to look for and help to go right. And while you do play some tutor effects, it's kind of hard to get the right mix every single time.
Right. And not only that, but with Delver, you're like, that's okay. I'll draw into a couple things.
Right.
Turbo Depths doesn't really have that luxury of, oh, I'll just draw my combo piece. I mean, they can, but you're looking for a strong starting.
Definitely, yeah.
2 Urborg, an Abrupt Decay, Basic Forest, and a Crop Rot.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is much better.
As far as 5-card hands go,
and it looks like he's going to keep.
Pretty good one.
Looks like he's going to keep on top. So this might be a good multiply.
Yeah. Okay. Basic Forest pass. On his side, we see a tropical island, pass back, and let's see what was on top there. Hexmage, cool. So let's see what happens here. Hexmage coming down.
Running this straight into Daze, I'm not sure this was what he wanted to do. Hey, how's it going, Andrew? Welcome in.
And Spell Snare.
Yeah.
Now, it's hard to see Noah's full hand, but it's looking pretty reactionary at the moment.
Okay, so taking out this Urborg doesn't hurt Patrick too much. We know he has another one in hand.
He also just drew Swamp, which means he should be pretty live to deal with whatever comes his way in terms of, like, he'll be able to pay costs for, like, Thespian Stage and the like.
Yeah, and there's no threat down from Noah. So you can you can assume that there's going to be a little more time for Patrick.
Patrick making use of that wonderful F6 button.
Which is funny, because he might want a crop rotation into turn.
He might. Maybe he'll pull it back really quick.
Maybe. It doesn't work the same way as online.
So, incoming Termagoyf.
Yeah.
And now, let's see what Patrick does. Patrick's just going to Abrupt Decay that on the spot.
Okay.
And that seems reasonable to me, although I would have possibly considered crop rotating there. The only thing that would stop you is a Force of Will. You're able to pay for a daze, and you might be able to get things online. But it's worth noting that Patrick is still at least one full combo piece away from being able to go off.
Even with the crop rotation. So the reason he doesn't crop rotation here is to see he's looking for one of his combo pieces. That way he can crop route for the second one. Because if you crop route for one now, then you might draw the same one that you just crop routed for.
Sure. Yeah.
Waiting may be good.
Yeah. For a similar reason you see in Modern when people are using their expedition maps in Tron. You wait until you have 2 Tron pieces and then you go get the third.
Right. You love to see the stream table get some use. You need to come spend some money. Gonna come play some Unstable, maybe some Legacy.
And not much going on here. It looked like another land drawn for Patrick. But Noah isn't really capitalizing on Patrick not being able to do much here. He just seems kind of content brainstorming, but we don't really see him brainstorming into much.
No.
Down comes a Nimble Mongoose.
All right. Land number 4. And this is a Delver.
Delver.
So the threats are online. Now Patrick has to deal with the clock.
Now, Mongoose is not quite at threshold, but we're 1 card away.
Nimble Mongoose don't care. No, Nimble Mongoose never cares. Not at all.
Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting to see if Patrick has much in the way to deal with these creatures. Do you know if he sideboards Toxic Deluge or anything along the lines to deal with the Mongoose?
Not that I know of. Usually there are Abrupt Decays, because
Mm-hmm.
you can't beat Pithing Needles, so there is removal for permanents like that. But I imagine he needs to race these creatures. And I know Noah has a Spell Pierce, but I don't know what the other cards are in hand. Honey Badgers don't care. No, neither of those things care.
Mm-hmm.
Nimble Mongooses, Honey Badgers, nope, none of them seem to care.
Nope.
I don't blame them.
Yep.
Not a lot to care about.
True.
All
All right.
Draw card. It looks like a Duress. So this is really important for Patrick to figure out what. All right, what's going on? You know, like what am I dealing with here?
Ironically, this will turn on the Nimble Mongoose.
Ironically. Spell Pierce, Stifle, and Chain Lightning. Well,
I think you have to take the Stifle.
You do have to take the Stifle. He has quite a bit of mana. Yep. So
There we go.
now he's racing this clock. Nimble Mongoose is now a 3/3, and if Delver actually,
If Delver flips, 6 damage a turn, there's a Lightning Bolt on top, and that's really not what Patrick wants to see here. It's now,
this is 12 damage coming through this turn. Well,
6
potentially.
damage with a potential 6 in hand.
Yes, this is Patrick who works here. It is Patrick O'Boyle.
So Patrick needs to make something happen this turn, otherwise he's facing lethal next turn.
Yeah, so it looks like he's probably just gonna go and grab a Dark Depths.
Yep. Pulls Dark Depths to the front. Takes a look around, seeing if he has anything else that he'd rather get. Dark Depths it is. And
it's gotta happen this turn.
let's see.
So he needs a Living Wish, he needs a Thespian Stage, or a Hex Mage.
Would Living Wish do it? So he would have to Living Wish for a Hex Mage, right? So he would need a black source as well?
He has Arborg in hand.
Oh, okay.
His last card's Arborg. So living, as far as I know, Patrick does have a Hex Mage in his sideboard for Living Wish. That's if any of you have seen us play on MTGO, I don't have a Hex Mage in our sideboard there. We just want them all in our deck, which may be wrong, but I think Patrick does have Living Wish as an out.
And that's a Thoughtseize.
Thoughtseize can take Chain Lightning.
Stay alive for one more turn, possibly.
I think this does give him another draw. Does he go to 1?
I believe so.
We're already sold out of Unstable. Yeah, we sold it all. Like, surprisingly enough, Andrew, like a lot of people wanted it. So we'll get another shipment in probably soon. Plenty of Iconic Masters, but sell out of Unstable like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Incoming Thoughtseize. Spell Pierce doesn't look too good. Patrick's happy to pay for that.
Yep. I think he's just making him do it.
Yep. Oh.
So he lets him take
Lightning Bolt. Yeah, absolutely.
Lets him take Lightning Bolt, which
Leah, I'm sure we can work something out for you. Even if I have to throw you my box.
So down to 1, Patrick goes, and I think that should be it.
Yeah.
Even if he gets it active here, he's not going to have 2 blockers for the creatures.
Checkpoints and cheat codes. You fell out of Magic. You fell out at the end of Kaladesh. That's sad. One thing I do love about Legacy is regardless of what set is current and what's going on,
yeah,
Legacy is always good.
Yeah,
as far as I know. All right, here's a Living Wish.
Living Wish. Noah checking his hand.
Gonna take a look. Patrick's gonna take a look at his sideboard,
seeing if there's anything that might get him out of this. Looks like
I don't think there is.
I'm not seeing anything at the moment. Interesting that there's a Dryad Arbor in the sideboard.
I don't think that
It
there
looks
is
like
a
there
Hex
might
Mage.
not be a Hex Mage in the sideboard. I do see a Thespian Stage in the sideboard,
Yeah.
and Patrick scoops it up.
All right, so 2 games to 0. Noah with Rug Delver takes it down.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Rug rules. Give it up. Man, I enjoy watching Rug Delver. Like, in comparison to all the other Delver decks, it's probably my favorite to watch.
Rug Delver is really fun to watch.
All right, let's check up on our other match. So we know Terry won 1 game, but we're unsure of what has happened since then.
Sure.
This is probably game 2, but it could be game 3. In fact,
And
no,
we
it probably is game
see
3.
a Deathrite facing down, a Gurmag Angler, and a
Delver of
Delver of
Secrets.
Secrets.
This is the From the Vault.
Yep. The
Delver.
Transform.
Yeah, From the Vault Transform
Mm-hmm.
came out not too long ago. Just a week or 2.
And Aaron.
I think Aaron is on 4-color.
Aaron could very well be on 4-color. Here comes a Strix.
What's the tiny URL? I'm not sure. I don't know. The emotes that Leah uses just don't work for some reason. Probably something we need to change on our end.
Probably. So Delver flipping.
I know. It pulls up when you click on it. Yeah, it's just an emote, Andrew.
It's just a sad face. So 8 damage coming in. And you're going to see the fastest block ever on that Gurmagangler.
Like, yep, that's a trade I'm willing to make. The Scalding Tarn comes down. And now Deathrite versus Delver. Or Insectile Aberration.
Now, I don't know about you, but I actually kind of feel like Aaron might be a little bit ahead here.
I do as well. After that block, that really changes things. In fact, kind of surprised that Terry made the attack.
Yeah, it's interesting to say. We
don't know his hand.
We can't quite figure out what's in either player's hand that might incentivize them to make that attack or that line of play. But Terry might just be content to try and race a singular Deathrite.
You can't race it too well. Not when there's 2 creatures in the graveyard that they can just gain some life.
Sure.
And it looks like Culligan's Command is going to attempt to take out this Insectile Aberration. Alright, so if I had to guess, he's going to try to return Baleful Strix to his hand and deal 2 damage to Insectile Aberration. Dragonite, you love watching Legacy? Me too. So much. Alright, here's a Force of Will. It's going to pitch Brainstorm.
And it looks like
he hasn't paid his life, has he?
Nope, he is not. Looks like we're going to see a Deathrite activation for mana and a Pyroblast back. And that's going to resolve. And just like you thought, Baleful Strix back to hand.
Yep.
And a Deathrite of Terry's Own comes into play. But
see if I can correct
that looks like a big boost for Aaron's side of the board. Legacy is the greatest. Legacy's wonderful static.
The roar of the crowd. I open the door and it's like, ah. Alright.
We'll see Studatnu. So, Baleful Strix replayed.
Studatnu, probably. We have a low player count tonight because so many people are playing Unstable.
Yeah.
So we only have 10 players playing Legacy tonight, which is enough for 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Enough for 3 rounds,
yeah.
But
pretty low comparatively.
Unstable is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't blame people for coming in and wanting to play some Unstable.
Sure.
I've really enjoyed it.
You can use cheaper methods, but it's not going to be quite as good.
Dragonite, there are strategies that use Shocklands fine.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't recommend it, but yeah.
All right, Deathrite activating, getting rid of that Force of Will. Mm-hmm. Doing this before Terry's able to respond with his own Deathrite activation.
Oh, static gripped, of course. Of course Legacy's greater than Unstable, but Legacy's not going anywhere. Unstable's going to lose its popularity very quickly. So it's a good time to play it right now. Andrew, do we not have any room? Is that what's going on? I haven't been notified of that, but it wouldn't surprise me if we have a full house tonight and there's no room for people who aren't in tournaments to be.
Yeah,
it's happened before.
Yeah.
It's not something that we like to happen, but full house.
All right,
This place is insane.
So both players' death rights doing some work, getting in some damage.
Oh, you just can't hang out for very long? Okay. I feel less bad now. Thank you.
And young Pyro entering the board.
We got a fatal push. Probably targeting young Pyromancer. That's not something that anybody wants getting out of hand. Sure enough, that'll hit the bin.
And it looks like Aaron's... Okay. I was wondering where that death right went to. Just popped into the graveyard for just a second. I think he went to look through his graveyard and then accidentally put it over there.
For sure. Dragonite, I understand. I personally love playing mid-range strategies in grindy decks. So whenever I'm playing in any format, those are the first decks I look at.
Mm-hmm.
I like Nyx Fit because it's a combo deck, but it's also like super grindy.
Jund,
yeah, Jund is grindy.
And Jace comes down on Aaron's side of the board, and I think that's, yep, that's going to resolve, and a quick brainstorm gets underway. And that's going to be very rough for Terry to deal with. Terry, sitting with just one card in hand and not much interaction, is now facing down a pretty stable and versatile board from Aaron.
Truly. You don't need them, Dragonite, but I will say that the difference between having them and not having them is huge.
Yeah. And Terry's gonna pack that in. And we get to see if that was game 2 or game 3.
Not sure.
In the meantime, we get to enjoy some great shuffle cam action and some sideboard action and hang out with you wonderful people.
This looks like they're gearing up for another game.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Definitely.
More Magic to watch. Less us talking.
Yeah, Dragonite, it really kind of depends. Legacy is a great format that you can spend a lot of time slowly sort of updating and slowly working your way from a budget list to a stronger, more expensive mana base.
Yeah. What the way that I did it is I played standard for a while, and then when the format would go away, I'd sell all my cards.
Yeah,
I'd just sell everything, and I'd start accumulating either store credit, or I would just pick up. I would take like boxes of bulk rares in to trade for like one card.
Yep.
And eventually it paid off, and I was able to make my first deck. Once you have one deck, you can really branch into others.
Yep.
Yeah, I played standard, Captain QC. I know. I'm a poor, unfortunate soul.
We're talking older standard.
Yeah. There have been really, really good standard formats in the past, but I'm not in love with the ones that are recent. They're okay.
Yeah, I think I'm about 4-color energied out.
So I played garbage. That's right.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to play garbage for a while before
trash for treasure.
Yeah. The checkpoints, you still have a commander deck floating around. See, that's another thing. Is I used to play a ton of commander, and then like once I realized that these formats were stale, I I took everything from them and I sold them. And I bought myself some duels, got all that stuff.
There are also decks Dragonite that play with 0 lands in them.
There are. Oops, no spells might be an option for you, or
Oops, all spells.
Oh, sorry, oops, all spells. Did I say oops, no spells?
Oops, no spells.
Well,
that's called lands.
Yeah, that's called lands. So, oops, all spells, Manaless Dredge, and Burn. Those are like the cheapest options for Legacy. All of them very linear strategies.
Definitely. All right, so we've got Thoughtseize coming in here, and it looks like Young Pyro's going to the bin.
Yeah, I think this is an easy take for Aaron. You see a hand with a little bit of interaction and 1 threat, like.
Yeah.
Not hard to just be like, yep, I'm taking the 1 threat. Oh, that's true. This is Nilla says that Merfolk isn't too horrible on the wallet. Yeah, I agree with that. Merfolk is not too bad.
Definitely.
And honestly, it's a decent deck.
Yep.
It's definitely playable. Not only that, but it transfers to Modern quite well. So, and Burn is that way too. So, some facts to note.
All right, now we're looking at Aaron's hand off of that Gitaxian Probe. And we've seen Wasteland take out his Underground Sea, so we see Jace, Brainstorm, Ponder, Lightning Bolt, and 2 lands. And 1 unknown card. I agree.
Totally, Jorgensen.
Vials
yeah, you're right.
and Merfolk reprints right now make...
Silvergill Adept was just reprinted. Master of Waves was in a dual deck.
Yep.
Like, yeah. Very, very right. Yeah, vials are like 25 right now, aren't they? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't actually checked the price. But Death and Taxes isn't too bad.
The mana base on Death and Taxes can be a little bit challenging.
Don't you need multiple Caracas? And you need 4 Rashadan Ports. You need 4 Wastelands.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than a lot of decks, but yeah.
So, Pyroblast coming in on Terry's side, keeping the board clear.
Yeah, if they reprint ports, then I would say that Death and Taxes is a great deck to go for. The only problem with Death and Taxes though is it's one of the decks that you need to know the format better than you know your own deck. I feel like you need to be playing Legacy for a while to play Death and Taxes to its best ability.
All right. Deathrite coming in on Terry's side, and you really see Aaron's mana base being taxed quite heavily by Terry this game. 2 Wastelands used already.
And a Stifle
looming for that fetch land in play. And here comes the fetch, and we're going to see that Stifle get used.
A lot of meta choices and taxes, exactly, Elite. And that's what I mean is like when you build a deck like Death and Taxes, you really do need to know what's going on in your store or what's going on in the meta in general. Knowledge of the format matters a lot with a deck like Death and Taxes.
Definitely.
Or you could just play Rug. You could just play Rug Delver.
Rug is kind of a middle ground for that as well. While it is expensive, there are a bunch of cards that do transfer over to other formats, such as Tarmogoyf.
Yep. Yeah. Caracas and Wastelands are cheap because of EMA.
Pray to God nobody's on check pile.
Yeah. Well, that's what Aaron's on right now. So Aaron's playing check pile versus Delver, but once it, something about check pile, they have an extremely greedy mana base,
Sure.
and you can see the struggle that's come from, like, that Terry has caused. 2 wastelands and a stifle.
Yep.
Like, where look at Aaron's board right now.
Aaron has 1 land.
Check pile needs 3 lands to be doing what it needs to be doing, at least 3 lands. Delver needs usually 2.
Ooh, and down comes Gurmag. Gurmag's going to present a 3-turn clock here, along with that Deathrite.
Okay, Terry needs to pull those lands back. I'm not going to make him. It's fine. Terry confirms spawn seat. Settle down. Settle down. He plays Magic the way he likes to play it.
Aaron is now up to 2 lands, assuming he has more lands to fetch for. It looks like he does.
Yep. Ah, that's my Underground Sea.
And an incoming Fatal Push on the
Take care of Delver. Or not Delver, sorry. Deathrite Shaman.
Deathrite Shaman. And unfortunately, with that fetch, Aaron does fall to 15, which still keeps him on that 3-turn clock on the Gurmag.
Yep.
2 turns to go. But if he can find 2 more mana in that time frame, which would be a turn... If he gets 2 more mana on turn, he'll have enough to play Jace and bounce the Gurmag. But we do see at least 1 lightning bolt in hand.
And we have our brand new unstable island that he's drawn.
Aha.
Attack with tropical islands. Oh, it's a real big fish. Nice. A real big
there
fish.
You go.
Nice, Jesse.
All right. So Baleful Strix coming down, and that's a great draw for Aaron.
Absolutely.
Eats that lightning bolt, draws him a card.
Yep. 5 more damage coming in. And now he's on the has to draw something plan.
And
this is a Ponder. Is it Ponder?
Let's see.
You draw a Tropical Island? I didn't see. You can block with Deathrite Shaman. Looks like he's got Ponder, Deathrite Shaman.
So I think in that case you ponder first, see if you can hit into another Strix, which would be a better play this turn. Or you set up the... If you miss on that, you set up the Deathrite to jump.
Is that a foil basic? I cannot tell from here, but it doesn't look like it. So, waiting for a stifle on the Jace pads.
On top, we see a couple red cards and a land, which is not going to do it for Aaron, so he shuffles.
You guys are crazy. I think the lands are so beautiful. Well, I guess you just said it was out of place. I mean, it definitely looks different, but I think it's gorgeous.
I like the foil versions a lot better than the normal.
Okay. I know a lot of people are gunning for the foils, myself included. I got myself a foil swamp.
Yeah. I'm usually not a big foil guy, but yeah, these
gorgeous.
Foils look great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, here's a Deathrite Shaman.
Deathrite comes down, probably on chump duty, and we'll see. This looks like another lightning bolt coming in, and that'll
do it.
That'll do it. So Grixis Delver beats 4 color in 3 games.
All right, let's come back to us for a moment. Get this all set up for round 2.
I agree. That swamp looks wonderful.
Yeah, the swamp is amazing. I actually have it like just on the other side of the streaming table. I don't know if you would be able to see if I showed you, but it is gorgeous. I kind of want to find it. to set things up here. Okay. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
All right.
So pretty.
Yeah, all the unset full arts are wonderful.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that very well. Oh yeah, you totally.
Oh yeah,
can.
definitely.
It's real pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a hefty price too for a basic. So. All right. We've got a couple minutes. You think they'll drop quite a bit after 1 million people pull them?
I think they will initially, but then they'll go way back.
Honestly, Jesse, I'm not convinced. People are only seeing them like 1 for every 3 boxes right now. It's not a lot. And they're in super, super high demand. Yeah, they're close to masterpiece rarity, exactly. Yeah. I don't expect them to go lower. Not by much. Yeah, they look so good, Elite.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very, very very happy to have one.
Gorgeous.
And here I am, like I like to have like all these pretty lands for my cube, and these come out and I'm like, nice, I need 1 of each. I look at the price and I'm going, oh, all right, like,
yeah,
may have to trade in some stuff, may have to make that happen. All right, let's talk about the Patreon.
Yeah.
Patreon. Pull it up. Give you guys the link. And transition.
We can show a pirate for our resident pirate.
For sure. It's close to a single masterpiece, but not a specific masterpiece. Yeah. I mean, there's still going to be a lot of them,
for sure.
But I don't know, man. I think they're going to hold value better than most things that seemed similar. All right, so guys, we have 5 new tokens that are rolling out in December, and these are going out to our Patreon members first. We've got our White Vampire token, our Servo. I really, really like this Servo. Just saying.
Here to servo a purpose.
Yeah, here to servo a purpose, for sure. We got any pirate tokens? We do. We do have pirate tokens. I'll show you one in just a sec. We got our Knight Ally. Man's closest ally and most loyal friend. And then here's our pirate. There you go. There you go, Stadotnu.
There you go.
So you can get that. You can get those from us, or here in a sec I'll link Leah's Etsy. And last but not least,
pretty awesome Merit Lage token.
Merit Lage. So, like I said, Patreon's the way to get it first, and then there are many different options you can choose from to do the Patreon. So we do 1 of each. So always 5 tokens a month. 1 of each will go out for $5. And then the more you pay, the more tokens you get. Obviously.
Oh yeah.
It's almost like that's how buying things works.
And with some of the higher up levels, you can submit ideas for.
Yeah. So starting with the hero at $15, you get 3 of each. You get 3 random tokens, and then you get to submit an idea for a token. So if there's like a specific token you want for your EDH, or a specific token you want for your legacy deck, or sky's the limit.
Yeah.
You get to decide what token you want, and Leah will make that happen for the following month.
Definitely.
So
yeah,
pretty cool. And then here, let me do the other plug. Yeah. here is her Etsy page, which so the link that I just sent, this will be all of Cats and Cantrips previous tokens to the ones that we just showed. So go ahead and take a look at those. They are absolutely amazing.
Definitely.
I, for one, love the Thopter. That was my favorite.
Meow, arg.
You just barely put them up today. The new ones, Leah? Well, let me now I need to check it out. Yes, look at that. The new ones rolled out today.
Nice.
You can see that on our Etsy page as well.
There you go.
Cool, cool. Well, as far as I know, can I post it in YouTube also? Perhaps.
Stand by.
Perhaps. The Patreon, or here, I'll just link both in YouTube. Do they not show up in YouTube chat? That is so weird.
There you go, Andrew.
Germ token? Yeah, we have germ tokens.
Do we have a Merfolk token?
I don't think we have a Merfolk token.
Oh.
No. But if you would like a Merfolk token, you can go to our Patreon and request it be made.
There you go.
Second link didn't go into YouTube. But... Okay, let's see where we're sitting. We should have a new round up super fast. No clues yet. That's actually another one that I'm super excited to see.
Yeah.
In Legacy, we have some Lands players who like to get clues off of tireless trackers, so that's probably one that should be on the docket, or unstable. Sorry, on the sprocket.
On the sprocket.
So, so yeah, hopefully those can come out soon.
Noah versus who now? We don't know quite yet. We'll see what's going on as soon as we know. We'll let you know, Studanu.
Yeah, the round
should be pretty.
The round
close.
is over.
Yeah.
The round should be over.
Yeah,
we're just waiting for turns to wrap up and for pairings to go up. I do know that room out there,
very crowded.
Very crowded. I walked out there because I have to get a chat sheet ready so that I can communicate with the people at the front desk, and I'm like, oh, I need to make sure this chat sheet is ready so the stream can start. And I walk out, and all I have to do is walk across the store, right?
Yep.
And I'm just going, how do I even get through all these people?
Get from point A to point B?
I don't even know.
You can't.
Matt, hold on. I'll be back in a half an hour. I'm just gonna go let them know something real quick, and I'll be right back. On the topic of unstable. Oh, Leah, you're doing playmats too? That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm down for more playmats.
The Urza's new -6 ability. I have not looked at the Ask Urza.
The new
AskUrza.com.
We can take a look.
Yeah.
I got to use it yesterday. I got to use you sent us one this morning. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't taken a look at our Facebook chat today. I've been streaming all day. Let's take a look at this. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Transition.
Urza, Academy Headmaster. If a source would deal damage to you or a planeswalker you control, prevent all but one of that damage.
I don't know what
I think
new
it's
ability.
all random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I used Urza yesterday, last night, at the midnight release of it, the ultimate that I got to do was Veraska's, and I got three assassins that when they deal damage to my opponent, I win the game.
Yeah.
And I did end up winning the game.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
There it is.
Yep.
Yep.
This one. I got that one.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of fun. Ugh. Nickel Bolas. Ugh. Yep. Whoa.
That's Soren one.
This one's crazy. Is it? That was the one that you saw? I mean, there's different ones every single time, Andrew.
Yep. It changes every single time.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's a good plus.
Yep.
Vraska's? Are you sure? That was the same Vraska ability that I've always known.
That's great.
Or not Dak Faden, Ral Zarek.
Yep.
That's cool. Flip some coins. 20 of each ability.
Okay.
The
20
assassin.
of each ability.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I was super excited to just pull in Urza because I told Brian we had a conversation about it, and I said, you know what, even if I see this in pack 3,
yeah,
I'm still forcing it.
Oh yeah,
I was hardcore red green starting, before I opened the third pack, and immediately I see Urza and I go, this is exactly what I said I was going to do. I'm going to do it.
There you go.
I didn't do well, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, that's the point.
Unstable.
Yeah.
I don't really.
The point is to have fun.
Yeah, it's not really about winning when it comes to unstable, for sure. There are some sweet strategies though.
Definitely.
So. Yeah, I did hear about that, Jorgensen. They wanted to make it so you didn't have to have a phone to be able to play with Urza.
That's good. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Just roll a d20. Okay, this is the one I get.
Yep.
Someone has the license plate purple. I don't know what that means. All right.
All right.
Where are we?
So, looks like our new round's going to be underway pretty shortly, and
by shortly, you mean it's actually already started?
There we go.
So this is not who's playing. We've got...
So we have... Looks like Calvin
versus Thomas.
Calvin on the left.
No.
No?
Oh, yeah. You're right. So Thomas looks like he's playing lands. And Calvin looks to be playing 4-color check pile.
All right. And we've got a Snapcaster in play and a Death Ray.
You might be playing Delver, actually. We'll find out.
Could be. I see
I saw an Abrupt Decay.
Yep.
Probably 4-color.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. And, yeah. There's a lot of Wastelands in Thomas's hand off of that.
As it turns out, you mess with the mana base of a 4-color deck like this, and it's probably not going to end well for Calvin.
Yep. And we've got some Dredge Loam action going on here.
That we do.
Oh, and there is a Grove, which I do know there is a Punishing Fire, at least one Punishing Fire in
the graveyard
Thomas's
as well.
graveyard. So, this is looking like it's going to be very hard for Calvin to catch up in this game, depending on how many basics he has in hand and how much interaction he's able to get.
Right. This is the weirdest rug I've ever seen. Well, maybe here. Let me see. Who's on our other table? All right, this team does look decisive. So because Stadotnu is being pushy. Did I play against Calvin in the team event? Elite, I did not. I was actually the standard player in the team event. And even though I won a lot, I really just didn't enjoy it. All right. So, yeah, let's transition.
Switching things over. So, Rug Delver versus Grixis Delver.
So we got to see both of these players play last round, just not against each other, obviously.
We see an active Nimble Mongoose in play. A very big Tarmogoyf. I see a Tarfire in the yard giving tribal.
Mm-hmm.
I see instants and lands.
Well, that was a good game.
And the game ends.
And the game ends. All right, so Noah's going to take this one. And look, we can go right back over to our other match and watch them grind it out, even though it's like super decisive. Yeah, Elite, I wish I was playing Legacy. Like when I talked to Brian about it, I was like, I'd rather be playing Legacy, and he's like, you know, I've put a lot of work into Food Chain. I think I should play Food Chain. And I was like, okay. I had just gotten back. I had just gotten back from preparing for GP Portland, which was standard, because I work here, and apparently Brian thinks I'm okay at Magic or something. They decided to send me over there, so I was already really tuned with four color energy.
Yep.
And Brian 5-0'd the team event.
Hey.
I 5-0'd the team event.
There you go.
My brother went positive in Modern. So
and it doesn't even matter.
And it doesn't even matter because we lost in our quarterfinals to a team that was better than us.
There you go.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Team events are really fun.
It was great.
They're difficult, but they're fun. So, as always, giving you the best shuffle cams in the state of Utah, if not
the world.
The world.
Oh, okay. Elite, you're Aaron. Okay. Sorry, I didn't make the name connection. Yeah. Yes. Aaron Murnaka is who I played in the quarterfinals, and I can honestly say if I'm going to lose to somebody in a top cut, I would rather lose to Aaron than probably anybody on the planet. Actually, he's a person I admire as a Magic player. And Josh Snow as well. We get to watch him quite a lot on these streams, and he is the miracles master.
Mm-hmm. Very skilled players.
Seriously. All right, looks like we're gearing up to start. Looks like the shuffling is about to end. Thank goodness.
Here we go.
Wait, no, go back. Shuffle.
Well,
mulligan.
You never know. We might get a couple mulligans in there too.
Maybe. It was nice to be the worst player on the team. I do not. I haven't played enough against you enough to know how good you are, but I assume that if you're on a team with Aaron Muranaka and Josh Snow, that you've got some skill. So I wasn't qualified enough. I'll tell you that much.
All right, so looks like we're underway here. Terry plays his first land, and Noah plays land right back. Cracks fetch in response, as you do against a Stifle deck.
Yes.
And it's Terry with the stifle.
Ooh. Take that, Rug Delver. No.
All right.
Andrew, I am not the person to ask about that. You're gonna want to come in and talk to a manager or an owner. I'm just in charge of the stream. Magic is better when Stifle is good. Stifle is one of those cards where when it looks good, it looks real good. And when it looks bad, not a whole lot looks worse. So it's fun seeing Stifle look good though.
So Strix in play on Terry's side of the board here.
Yeah.
Noah finally gets his first land, although he's thinking about it and changing it up a little bit here. Looks like he's going to get Volcanic Island and might have an answer for that Strix. Or he might be playing Ponder. We see a Mongoose in hand for Noah.
Don't stifle me, bro. And a
and
Daze.
Daze comes in on Terry's side of the board. Daze back on
Wow.
Noah's side.
This is very surprising. So not only are we seeing a cantrip be countered, but we're seeing a cantrip get saved by another counter.
Yeah.
I've never seen a fight like this over a small cantrip, but
well, it's
they both seem to know it's important.
It's very resource based. I think Noah is trying a lot harder to find lands. I saw it looked like he only had that one after being stifled, and he wants to make sure that he's going to be able to set up future draws. I saw him pick up a Force of Will off of that draw.
Okay.
A couple cards coming in here on
we got a
Terry's side.
a Delver, and a Ponder.
And what's interesting to me is Rug usually is the deck that wants to be the tempo controller.
Yes.
In the game. They want to start things off quickly and then use cards like Daze to solidify their lead. Right now we see Noah's very far behind.
Yeah, and that's not good. Grixis Delver has a much better mid-range plan, mid-game plan to it than Rug Delver does. And where they're so far ahead, I imagine they're going to keep this tempo.
Yeah. Pyroblast coming in, looks like probably on the Delver in response to Probe.
If I were Terry there, I would have been like, yeah, I didn't cast the Gataxi Probe. All right, Wasteland's going to take care of the Volk Island.
Wow. And I'm unsure. We'll take a look in here in just a second. We'll see. Okay, so there is one land remaining in Noah's hand. I was unsure if there was any lands remaining.
You know, Terry's hand, aside from this Gurmag Angler, there's not much going on. So the fact that we know that Noah has a land, and we know that there's a Dismember there, I don't actually think that there's tons of gas left for Terry. This Ponder helps though.
Terry might have the time though to figure this out.
He does have a fetch land. He'll be able to fetch away these two lands that were on top of the library.
Sure.
Seen by the Ponder.
Yep.
And but he's gonna start with casting Gurmag Angler. The real big fish, as Jesse would so kindly pointed out.
Yeah. Not just a band anymore.
Nope.
All right, Angler comes into play. Noah seems pretty content just to say, yep, that's fine. I've got my Dismember next turn for that, so I'm not going to bother on a Force of Will. is Seems to be taking a moment to kind of think things through.
He has a Wasteland and he has a Polluted Delta. No, knowing that there's just 2 lands sitting on top of Terry's deck, I would assume that that would be the land that was played, but it looks like he just passes the turn. Did I miss that did he already play his land? Is that what happened? Not sure.
I believe so.
Okay.
So Blue Delta comes down for Noah, and I think Noah's trying to figure out whether he needs to dismember here or whether he can hold off and kind of keep that fetched land around in play and be a bit more wasteland proof.
Nando, thank you for the follow.
And it looks like we're going to see a Mongoose come into play.
This is somewhat surprising. I think I expected to see Dismember just kill this Grim Angler.
I did as well. It's possible that Noah is trying to play around a Daze of some sort or some other counter magic, and not have to use a force as well in order to get that 5/5 off the board. Down comes Deathrite on Terry's side. And that Wasteland on Noah is going to take away what I believe is Noah's remaining mana source, if he doesn't have one off of that one unknown card.
I don't think it's a land. I think this will be it, honestly. Unless you can top deck one, and even then he's facing down a Deathrite Shaman. This is 3 damage a turn.
Yep.
He would have to lose 4 life just to kill Gurmag Angler. And if he has a fetch, then he's losing 5 and going to 4. And
Dismember itself is going to deal minimum of 4 damage.
That Yard Shuffle.
Yard Shuffle, yeah.
Great. HC Fox is a firm believer in graveyard order. It matters.
As you should be.
You should be.
Yeah. In Legacy, it does matter.
It does.
Fortunately, with both of their decks, it shouldn't matter.
Dragonite Augment was a lot of fun. I got to play with it last night. That was the kind of the archetype deck that I chose. It was a blast.
So Noah says, yeah, gotta try and dismember that fish. Kills it.
Yep, that'll happen.
And unfortunately, getting there with the Mongoose, say go. That's all you can do. At 5 life, this is looking like a pretty easy win for Terry. At least for this game.
Yeah, I think we'll just see a simple attack from Baleful Strix.
Sure. Hold open that Deathrite.
I would assume that he'll leave Deathrite up to exile anything if needs be.
Makes sense to me.
But it can be stifled.
It can. I'm not sure that that's going to matter as much with the limited resources that Noah has in play.
Daze Lightning Bolt, other card. Counter Magic's not doing a whole lot when you're losing to your opponent's board state.
Definitely.
Not the greatest.
And Force of Will is not fully free. It does cost life as well.
All right, and that'll do it. Terry's going to take game 2. It's almost like the Delver decks like being on the play.
It's almost like Stifle is a really strong Magic card when played properly.
Absolutely. All right, let's take a look at this 4-color check pile versus lands. This is Thomas and Calvin.
It looks like we've got a Leovold in play versus a bunch of lands, shockingly.
Something interesting, Mishra's Factory is on the board for Thomas, and a lot of decks are I've seen using Dryad Arbor to try to fetch and save Merit Lage.
Sure. stopping
I think
edicts. Yeah.
more decks recently have been running Mishra's Factory.
I
They
think
double as a win con.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Being able to keep the factory from being a creature when you don't want it to be can be a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And having it be a slightly bigger creature as well can also be a big deal.
Right.
So instead of having just a lowly 1/1, you get yourself a 2/2, possibly even bigger when blocking or when combined with, say, a Thespian stage.
Absolutely. All right, so Gamble gets Force of Willed. Not a ton of super relevant things to Force of Will when you're playing against lands, but I think Exploration and Gamble are the things that you just can't let resolve if you're the 4-color check pile player.
Yep.
So
Calvin's saying, wait, I have responses before you block.
Snapcaster's going to come in, targeting... Is this... Diabolic? Diabolic Edict?
Hard for me to tell with the foiling.
See if I can find it. I would assume it's Diabolic Edict. Yes.
Yeah. Diabolic
Edict.
All right, Diabolic Edict.
So, interesting. Diabolic Edict is literally there to get Merit Lage.
Yeah.
And Calvin realizes this is going to get caught at some point anyway. Let's just take care of this now.
Yep.
That way I can focus on Merit Lage down the road. And I like that.
Yep.
I like that from Calvin.
Yep.
So.
Not to mention 5 damage a turn is pretty substantial.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we can see Thomas is already down to 3 life.
Probably not a lot that Thomas can do to regain possession of this game. Glacial Chasm, maybe. Okay.
Yep, and there it is. So Calvin takes that game.
Ooh, both of our feature matches are going to a game 3. It's exactly how we like to see it. And now that we have the shuffle cam going, it looks like these guys might be close to done. Yeah.
Hey.
Cool.
All right. So back to the Delver on Delver action. This time, Rug's on the play. We'll see if Rug is able to get off to more kind of tempo-ish start that it's looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Able to put a threat into play and then protect it and ride that threat to victory. And we'll see if Grixis can put a stop to that.
Yeah, Dragon Knight. So Thomas is playing lands. It's not all lands, but the percentage is very high. Really, there's only a couple cards, notable cards that are not lands.
Yep.
In it, and all of them help lands.
Yep.
Gamble, Light from the Loam, Exploration, Mana Bond,
Punishing Fire.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Crop Rotation.
Yep. And sometimes Crucible.
Yeah, sometimes a Crucible. Yep. Okay, so we've got a Gataxian Probe. This is going to see a Nimble Mongoose, a Brainstorm, Polluted Delta, Wasteland, and a Force of Will. Pretty good hand from Noah.
Sure.
He's got Force of Will. He's got a threat on the board. He can cast Nimble Mongoose this next turn. He has Wasteland to interact with his opponent's board.
Definitely.
Or his lands. Where's Super Friends? That is not a deck in Legacy. Planeswalkers are powerful, but usually they're the very, very top end of your curve. Okay, Cabal Therapy.
Right. Therapy coming in.
Yeah.
And you... I'd assume here you're naming Brainstorm. It takes away a blue card for Force.
Mm-hmm.
Nimble Mongoose really isn't a threat this early.
No.
And you're not... Yeah, there you go.
You're absolutely right. So that is going to... Cabal Therapy is going to name Brainstorm. Nick Fit is about as close as you can get to Super Friends.
Nick Fit does kind of have a little bit of a Super Friends-ish feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Delver blind flips anyways, so
Sees a Dismember.
in for 3. And
And-
I'd assume we're seeing...
Oh.
Interesting. I would have thought we'd be wastelanding.
Okay, he's going... Just kidding.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yep. Wasteland Underground Sea. Play Nimble Mongoose. This way he gets to play around days. Pretty easy play to make there, I think.
Definitely. And now you've got a decent amount of pressure on the board.
Right, Raceland exactly. Miracles with Jace and Gideon. I've seen a lot of versions not run Gideon and run Baneslayer Angel, which I think is sweet. But Nicol Bolas is way too high mana cost Dragon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine what deck you'd be playing to play that. There are just better things to cheat into play, so it's not. I don't know.
Nick Fit Bolas.
Nick Fit Bolas. Ugh. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'd rather Nick Fit into Overwhelming Splendor and Cruel Reality.
Works for me. Works for me. So in comes Insectal Aberration and a Nimble Mongoose. The nimblest of mongoose.
Mongoose. You're way too high mana cost? That may be true.
Ponder underway. And those cards look pretty good on top from this position. There's a Tarmogoyf, a Pyroblast, and another land. I believe you probably keep those on top. I'd probably put the Pyroblast first.
There's not a ton that Noah has to interact with from this point. As long as he can keep his Force of Will live, and that should be all that really matters. 4 damage a turn is going to clear this one up really fast, and he has Dismember to take care of any potential blocker.
Got answer for creature.
And Terry can't even get to 3 mana for a True Name Nemesis this turn, so...
No.
A Humility deck with Elspeth, Gideon, and Jace. That is awesome, Raceland. Yeah, I'd have to see that list. That sounds sweet.
All right. So down comes a Baleful Strix, and normally Baleful Strix would be a pretty decent way to start clawing back into this game, but we do know that Noah has that Dismember in hand and Pyroblast.
Just gonna Pyroblast.
Pyroblast on the Baleful Strix.
Yeah. So the reason he does this is to play around Gurmag Angler. He feels like Dismember is better. You know, keeping Dismember is better versus Gurmag Angler. Not a card he wants to have to deal with this game.
And again, just trying to leverage that position that he has for a little bit more damage and a little bit more time to kind of keep the game under control.
Mm-hmm.
So on top of Noah's library, I believe we don't know what it is anymore because he fetched away off of the Polluted Delta.
Kazaiko, thank you for the follow.
That's interesting. So what happened there?
He forced a Brainstorm on Pyroblast to keep the Death Toucher, and he knows that there's a Dismember. Very interesting.
Very interesting. Makes him use it.
And that's more damage too.
In for 6. Down to 6.
No, he was at 12. Yeah.
Down to 3.
So that was the 7th card. Dismember was.
Definitely. And True Name comes in, but it looks like that's gonna...
True Name's gonna get forced. And
that's game.
Looks like a concession.
Yep.
At that point.
Yeah. So, Rug Delver takes that match 2-1.
Look at that. We get to see Rug Delver again next round.
Hey.
You hear that, Sadatnu?
Rug Delver running the tables.
Okay, and let's catch up here. So we've got 2 Ghost Quarter, a Thespian Stage, a Taiga, and a Tireless Tracker. So they're going to use the back of our tokens here for clues. So that's what that is. That's a clue token. You can pay 2 mana and sacrifice the clue to draw a card.
And speaking of sacrifices, we're seeing an edict come in on that tireless tracker. That clue will remain around for some added value later, though, for Thomas.
Yes. It's actually really important to have these clues, too. Not only is Tireless Tracker just a good card and can win the game by itself because it gets very large, and this is a lands deck, but you're playing with Life from the Loam. Yeah. Having just being able to pay 2 mana at any time to use Life from the Loam's
get the dredge going. Yeah,
to get the dredge going. Pretty important.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine Thomas is pretty happy to have it.
Worth noting that you can save your Life from the Loam from cards like Surgical Extraction in response to the trigger by
Liliana. Raceland, go ahead and post. Go ahead and post the link. It probably won't show up in chat, but we'll still be able to see it.
Yep.
So go ahead and post it. I'll take a look.
Second tracker comes down.
And I imagine we're going to see a follow-up land, right?
One would think. There comes a Grove of the Burn Willows. And another clue on Thomas's side. Thomas passes back to Calvin. Calvin draws for turn.
Keep feeling good, man. That is a Diabolic Edict. It's a 1 and a black instant speed sacrifice effect. And Raceland, and we can take a look at this list between games or rounds.
Yeah, that sounds like a good thing to do.
But I do have it.
That's kind of spicy.
Okay. You got a Baleful Strix.
That's got one of your favorite cards in it, too.
Where? Yeah, I do like that card.
Baleful Strix comes down on Calvin's side, drawing him a card, and here comes another Edict effect for that second Tireless Tracker.
So this is the same card, Diabolic Edict. Looks like he's firing these off to get rid of Tireless Trackers instead of Merit Lage, yeah.
And that Liliana keeps ticking up, getting closer and closer to ultimate.
Besides Glacial Chasm, I don't know what Thomas could do to beat a Liliana emblem. Not only that, but Planeswalkers don't typically emblem against lands because they have Punishing Fire.
Yeah.
But if Thomas just can't find one, that or a gamble.
Tabernacle, but you don't care if the tokens die. Really?
No, you just pay for as many as you can.
Yep.
That's probably enough. But yeah, you're right. Tabernacle would get rid of... Yeah, with no lands and a Tabernacle for sure.
Yep.
Raceland, it was a 292 player event. That's awesome.
Wow. All right, so it looks like we see a Thespian stage activating. Oh no,
this is a Ghost Quarter.
A floating of mana and Ghost Quarter killing Thespian stage.
Going to search for his basic forest.
And Loam coming in, pulling back 3 lands to hand.
2 Ghost Quarter and the Thespian stage.
Yep, effectively drawing cards.
Yep.
And pass back to Calvin. Oh, maybe not quite yet. And yes, okay. So, Calvin draws. Calvin's hand doesn't look to be very exciting at the moment, but that Liliana keeps ticking up and Calvin keeps kind of chugging along, looking for something a little bit more to do than just attack for one. And
yeah, and unfortunately for Calvin, I do see a punishing fire in Thomas's hand. This Liliana's not gonna.
Yep.
It's not gonna ult.
Unfortunate.
At least anytime soon.
And Grove already in play for Thomas, so kind of allow that punishing fire to do a lot of work. Here we see a return.
Calvin's got to know the writing on the wall at this point. There are two clue tokens. He has Loam going. He has Punishing Fire going. I just don't see a lot that Calvin can do to outvalue from this point.
Calvin's probably looking to start things off by something like a Leovold in order to get a little bit of value off of Punishing Fire activations. And that might give him enough gas to kind of start powering through. Fortunately, right now, Punishing Fire is still kind of only barely keeping things in line.
And he did just force. And he's gonna surgical extraction Punishing Fire.
Yeah.
This is huge. So because of the clue tokens, he doesn't get to surgical extraction the life from the loam, which is really the thing that you want to get.
Sure.
But with the force of will here, he's able to surgical extraction the thing that's keeping the Liliana from ulting.
Sure. And we do see a Glacial Chasm in hand, as well as it looks like a Maze of Ith, and 2 other lands for Thomas. So that will be able to sort of stave off the beatdowns early, but this Liliana might do some serious work.
It definitely can. Glacial Chasm plus life from the loam is gonna give this game's gonna go long. That's all I'll say is like.
Oh yeah. Barbarian Ring is another option that can help keep that Liliana in check.
In fact, I think that's good enough to just. Yep, life from the loam.
Let's see what happens here. Life from the loam. Pick up 3 lands. Choose which one to play. Thought about Wasteland and then sees the Barbarian Ring, still kind of hesitating on which one to do.
I think you made a mistake. Barbarian Ring has to have 7 cards in the graveyard, right?
I believe so.
And he just picked up 3 lands off of that life from the loam.
Now he can put 2 back in by ghost quartering his own land. Yeah, definitely need Threshold.
Play Ghost Quarter. He can double Ghost Quarter.
And Thomas looks like he's a little frazzled. He's kind of noticed that he made a mistake on the Barbarian Ring.
Yep, he did.
Passes back. And here comes the ult.
Yeah, he still has everything he needs to clue cracking, possibly.
So in come some zombie tokens.
Looks like he's just going to choose to play this Glacial Chasm game.
And there's a Tabernacle. Now, Tabernacle by itself is not going to do a lot in the immediate, but later down the road it might be able to keep these zombies in check.
Yeah, Tabernacle will choke the zombies for sure, but Calvin has plenty of mana for them to apply pressure.
And it's not going to take that many zombies to start attacking in.
No, but Glacial Chasm is
Chasm's definitely the harder one, and Thomas is really looking to try and make this game go longer. The longer this game goes, the more it favors Thomas.
Right. We do get to see our 2/2 zombie tokens from Cats and Cantrips. We kind of looked at those earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, he needs to find an exploration. Any way he can play multiple lands in one turn, and he should be able to take this game away.
Definitely.
But right now he is choked on the number of things he can do in one turn.
Discarding to hand size. Pitches 2 life from the loam, says, yep, okay. Calvin in for 4. Place another land. Gets another token on the ready.
Aaron, I couldn't agree more. I'm loving the Nyx Fit deck right now.
Yep.
Not only that, but in my paper version, I have 3 Ground Seal on my sideboard. Since I don't have Leyline of Sanctity in paper, I've been running 3 Ground Seal, and I love them.
Yep.
They're fantastic. None of this loam shenanigans. You can't reanimate your Gristlebrand.
Yeah.
You can't Snapcaster. You can't Deathrite.
Nope.
Shuts off a lot of really important things. It's a lot of fun.
Definitely.
And when it comes into play, you draw a card.
What more could you ask for?
Not a lot. I mean, maybe it could be 1 mana instead of 2.
Aw, yeah.
But that's asking for a lot. Yeah. Oh, you think they should be main deck?
Interesting.
I'm not running the main deck at the moment, but I don't hate the idea.
Yeah.
They cantrip.
I can think of worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're already running a 61 card deck. It'd be pretty hard to make cuts, but it could say you win the game. It could say you win the game when it comes into play. Yeah, it could.
It could. It doesn't, but it could.
Yeah, Aaron. Actually, it doesn't just stop that. It stops Deathrite completely.
Yep.
Deathrite can't target anything in their graveyard, in your graveyard. It literally makes Deathrite a 1/2. So it stops them from making progress, and it also stops them from stopping us. Really, really good card against Deathrite Shaman.
All right, so lots of zombies on the board for Calvin, and a big handful of lands for Thomas. I think Thomas is trying to figure out how many tokens Calvin would be able to pay for if he were to cast Tabernacle this turn. I believe that Thomas needs to play a Glacial Chasm here in order to start to stabilize, and then he can play the Tabernacle.
Yeah, and you guys are probably right. He should sacrifice the Bog. That way he can get it back.
Tabernacle comes into play. Passes turn back to Calvin.
He's trying to win with Merit Lage, not control. Yeah, I think he is looking for his win con.
All right, so we've got 6 zombies ready to go.
Yeah, he's accepting a hit for 12. He doesn't have a crop rotation, does he?
I don't see one in hand.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Calvin seeing what he wants to pay here. So he's gonna sacrifice 3 zombie tokens, keep 3 around, and hit for 3.
Or for 6.
Or yeah,
they're 2/2s.
Yeah, hit for 6. 3 tokens coming in, and that's going to give him enough mana to hold up Force of Will for a hard cast.
He'll end the turn, and he'll get 5 zombies. So just to be clear, how he's representing it is there are 3 tapped zombies and 5 untapped zombies. Three ticks of chasm.
All right, more loam action on Thomas's side. And Calvin says, "Let me take a look over there. Let's see what you got." And we're going to see a Force of Will come in on that loam, and Chasm coming into play,
Sacrificing the Ghost Quarter. Yeah, the zombie tokens are great. I really like them too. He played lucky. Well, sometimes you gotta play lucky. Yep, P-Fire hit Strix, not Lily.
For sure.
That was something that happened earlier in this game that Thomas is probably looking back and regretting.
Yeah,
he could have taken 1 damage.
Yep, that and the Barbarian Ring as well. Dredging for full value there really hurt and could have made the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that Thomas is out of it yet. He's got those tokens locked down with the Chasm and Tabernacle. Calvin seems pretty happy just to keep 3 around.
Oh, I think he played it well with the zombie attacks.
Moms over a couple wastelands. And we see a couple combo pieces come back into hand for Thomas. Thomas plays himself a
Dark Depths.
Puts 10 counters on it, and is threatening being able to Thespian stage that Dark Depths.
Yeah, Raceland, Calvin hasn't drawn well. That is true. He drew what he needed to get Liliana up and going, but since then he really hasn't drawn anything that matters.
All right, so here comes an activation on Thespian stage,
and we got another Diabolic Edict, which means it's gonna take, without an exploration, it's probably gonna take 2 turns for Thomas to get this back.
And it's worth noting that Thomas's life total is now
4
life.
He may have to not die. He may need to Thespian stage the Glacial Chasm.
You might.
Probably looking for a second Thespian, yeah.
And I think ideally looking for something along the lines of an exploration to be able to start doing more than one of these things a turn and actually do more than tread water against Calvin's board.
C5 Samus, thank you for the follow. I think, we've pointed out a couple things where he probably could have dealt a couple damage to the Liliana, and he may not be having to face down this threat, but he could have committed to the lock.
Sure.
Okay. And instead he tried to go for Dark Depths.
Yep.
I also think that this was a slight a slight misplay. Because if he had gone for a lock, he could be demonstrating that every single turn.
Yep.
But now he's crunched. His life total so crunched that he may not be able to get there.
Yep. We see a couple cycles coming in, just trying to hit.
There it is. There's the exploration.
There's an exploration.
Okay.
Wow.
Was that really his draw off of the shelter thicket?
Yeah.
Whoa. Well, that was right what it needed to be.
So Thomas plays out another thespian stage and should be in an okay position now to start going over the head of Calvin and get his combo online and attack with the 2020.
Yeah. Now, something I can't quite tell, but it looks like Calvin drew a stifle.
Huh.
Is that? Oh, it's a submerge. Or is it?
Submerge would be interesting here too.
So he's gonna copy the glacial chasm with thespian stage.
Yep.
And then let the glacial chasm die.
Sure.
So this top thespian stage is a glacial chasm.
Yep. And in comes Dark Depths and another stage. So 2 stages in play for that Dark Depths.
Mm-hmm.
The tokens are still held at bay by that copied stage on Chasm.
And I see a dice coming down at the bottom left corner of the table.
Yeah.
Looks like that's turn 2.
This game's been going pretty long. I could definitely see it be in turns.
I think Thomas has got it.
It looks like he might just squeak in there.
I think exploration came at the exact moment he needed it to. Okay. Baleful Strix could easily help turn this into at least a draw.
That at least buys a turn, especially with no punishing fire in order to clear it.
Right. So Calvin will draw a card. It looks like he draws a Force of Will. And I still am not sure what the other card is that he drew.
I think we'll find out here.
It's a Thoughtseize.
Interesting. So Thomas reveals his hand, says nothing in there but those lands. Yep. Jesse, good point. Barbarian Ring in hand for Thomas will be able to clear away that Baleful Strix.
Absolutely. So what I thought was a Force of Will actually looks like it was an Invocation Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize probably just as good as Force of Will in this moment. They're both dead cards.
So in comes the 2020.
Thomas likely falls to 2. FC Reaper, welcome to chat. Nope, he's just going to let the Glacial Chasm die.
Yep. Barbarian Ring comes down. Ring activates, kills Baleful Strix. Calvin takes a look. And that's the game. So Thomas
it was a Hydro Blast. Okay.
Okay. Thomas barely squeaks that one out in turns.
Yeah, that was an amazing game to watch.
Quite the game.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
Well, so we're in turns there. If I had to guess, our next round will be up soon.
Yeah,
In the meantime, we can look at this list. Yeah. This is the one that Race FNM was showing us. The Super Friends deck, because Dragon Knight wanted to know if there was a Super Friends deck.
Wow. So, Gideon of the Trials.
1 Gideon of the Trials, 2 Gideon Ally, 2 Jace the Mind Sculptor, and an Elspeth Knight Errant.
Yeah.
No kidding.
2
and Humility, everybody's favorite card.
And 2 Search for Azcanta.
Yeah. Search for Azcanta is sweet. Because sometimes you just gotta go looking.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
Yeah, and I like the EE as well. Some Snapcasters. But yeah, it looks like this deck is just gonna lock down with Humility, play
a very controlling game, and just try to capitalize on the fact that people aren't terribly prepared for Planeswalkers as much as they should be, especially with Gideon of the Trials being able to make it so that you can't lose the game. There is one Leyline of Sanctity. There's also an Enlightened Tutor on the board.
Yeah, Race FNM, that is super interesting. Yeah. I wonder why. Why just one? You know, like
one of fun of.
It's just a card to me that just screams 3 or 4.
Usually.
One single Leyline of Sanctity. Yep.
Well,
because guys, we're gonna find it.
One is all you need. 2 would be redundant.
You're right. Shows what I know.
You don't want more than 1 in your hand.
No, you don't.
Unless you're on the Leylines deck.
All right. Quick advertisement for us before our next round gets all started and whatnot. Let's do. Hold on. Let's do this one. Ta-da!
All right.
So this is the link that I just sent. This is our TCG store. Or I believe it is. Is it not? Is it not?
Uh-oh.
That was the link for it before.
Uh-oh.
It's not there anymore. Jorgensen, help. Did Lands win? Lands did win.
Lands won in turns. In game 3.
Jorgensen, what was the little thing you made for the TCG site? Was it just exclamation point TCG, or what was it? If you're still in chat. There you go, TCG store. Is that better?
There we go.
Is this actually us? Yeah, I think so.
so.
Thank you. Okay, so that's the real link. I don't know what happened to my other one, but we've got all sorts of things posted on our TCG store, and actually we send out like between 50 and 100 of these daily. We're getting a lot of traffic on our TCG store. We have great prices on all kinds of stuff. I just sorted this by price, so we've got a lot of legacy needs. So go ahead and check that out if there's things that you need. Good chance we have some of it. I would hope. Hope we can help you out.
And not just legacy stuff, but
no,
other things as well.
Yeah, we post all kinds of things. So definitely see what we've got. We always put a good price on things. Okay. And gearing up for round 3. You know, I do feel like Lands has a favorable matchup against a grindy deck.
Maybe we'll see a Lands versus Rug Delver matchup.
I think that favors Lands a little bit. But Stifle could be funny.
think it depends on how quick of a start Delver
can get up.
Yeah.
If they can play that tempo game, they can win.
Yeah.
But they need to make sure that they have force of wills for things like crop rotation.
Oh yeah.
And for things like gamble.
Definitely.
Really, really important that those don't resolve.
And Nimble Mongoose will not die to Punishing Fire.
No, that's a creature that they can't interact with pretty much at all. Of course, they can get a Tabernacle into play, and they can, make them pay for it. But
definitely,
I think most of the time Delver will have at least one land.
Yeah.
Especially if they're on the aggressive.
Also, cannot be mazed.
No mazes. Nope. Yeah, it probably has a better matchup against lands than most Delver decks. That's a really good point. And I imagine that is what we'll be watching.
Well, pretty small tournament tonight.
Yeah.
But tons of people in the room still.
Yes.
You can hear the roar of the crowd from here. I don't know if you guys can hear over.
A couple times Patrick has walked into the room just to grab something or put something back down. But like the second the door opens, it's just like super loud. This is supposed to be like a mostly soundproof room, and it's like,
yeah,
nah. Not really. It does work, but perhaps not enough.
All right. Well, looks like we have some players sitting down.
I'd hope so.
So round 3 should be getting started pretty soon here.
You can hear him yelling out there. Pairings for Draft Pod 2.
Round 3, not 1.
What am I doing?
There is at least one Turbo Depths player. We saw Patrick playing that in round 1. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that round didn't go very well for him.
No, he drew very poorly, and Rug Delver really, really had some good games. So, but yeah, there is a Rug Delver player in the room. Not a Rug Delver, sorry, a Turbo Depths player. But there is a Rug Delver player as
also
well.
A Rug Delver player in the room.
Okay. Well, let's take a look here. You just got here. You can go back and watch the VOD, but just warning you, he really had some rough draws, really bad draws. Rug Delver, keeping people honest.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta keep them honest. Okay, so it looks like this is Terry. Is this the round we're watching? I believe so.
Yeah.
I'll switch over the names real quick. Oh, this is Calvin.
This looks
very,
very similar to
what is going on here. Hold on.
To what we've been watching.
Are they just playing for fun, or I can't tell because this looks like the same people, don't they?
It looks very similar to me.
Because I feel like we're supposed to be on this table. No, this has got to be different. I think we're supposed to be watching this table.
Yeah. All right, so opening hands being drawn.
Not sure who this is yet. It's got to be Thomas. Has to be Thomas. There we go.
Okay.
Rematch for bragging rights. No, I actually think he's playing against another lands player.
Barbarian Ring into play. And Thomas passes the turn.
I think he may actually be playing Gamble. Yeah. And Noah lets that resolve. That's not what you want to see if you're Noah. Get there, Goose.
Well, this is the matchup that we were saying might happen, and here it is. So we get to see if that Mongoose is able to beat down on the lands player, or if it gets swallowed alive by a 2020 Merit Lage token.
This is another matchup where the longer the game goes, the more it favors the land player.
Definitely. I feel like most matchups are that way. The longer the game goes, the more it favors the player who is able to leverage their cards for more value.
Right. Dark depths everywhere down here. We've seen a lot of the same players today wrestling him. But yeah, we have at least 2 lands players every single tournament. And then Patrick doesn't usually get to play, but he has Turbo Depths built, so I think there's much more Delver and 4-color in our meta than lands.
I think it under gamble. HC wants to keep him honest. So
if I went out there and told Thomas that his graveyard order was off, he'd probably look at me like, "Are you kidding?"
Second gamble coming in here for Thomas.
Oh no, Life from the Loam.
Oh no.
How far from Salt Lake are we? About 15 minutes. It's really close. Maybe 20 minutes from the airport.
Yep. Pretty much right along the freeway.
Oh yeah, it's right off the freeway. Very easy to get to.
Mm-hmm.
If traffic is nice.
Yeah. Which it was today.
Was it?
Yeah.
That is nice.
Yeah. Tarmageddon. So, here we see Ghost Quarter coming in, and that's going to take out a Tropical Island. That is one thing about this Rug list. Rug usually doesn't run any basics. So,
yeah.
You see he doesn't even bother fetching there.
Nope.
He just says, "Yep, you got me."
Racing, you're visiting in-laws and you're gonna drive out here? That is awesome. We will be happy to have you.
Definitely stop by.
Bring your legacy deck.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So, Goyf currently looking to be a 3/4 or a 2/3. Excuse me.
Yep, just sorcery and land at the moment. It looks like Daze is going to do this more to pump the Tarmogoyf than anything else. Yep, Dazing to protect the Tropical Island.
Yeah. Noah says, "I don't need any lands in play right now. I've got mine."
I got my Tarmogoyf. You'll bring Miracles or Grixis control. Awesome.
Sweet.
Well, hopefully you can make it out for either our Tuesday or Friday tournaments. If you're here on a Friday, I recommend it. This place is just crazy.
Nope. And the goose is loose.
Yep. So this is for 3 damage. Ghost Quarter is going to happen.
No, it says make sure you keep that life total down. So a couple stages in play. Not much else in the way of the combo yet for Thomas. But he does have Life from the Loam online, which is really quite big.
Yeah, it is.
thicket coming into play. Crop rotation on that thicket.
Mm-hmm.
And this
probably
is
Dark Depths.
about what you want to see. No
Ooh.
real...
Even
Okay.
better,
So,
Tabernacle.
Tabernacle. And
Noah's just going to scoop it up.
how do you like those no permanents? So, quick loss for Noah there.
Yeah, Jesse's like, he
Thomas
just needs a
picks up game one.
Tabernacle. There it is.
Yep.
Exactly.
There you go.
Called it.
Yep.
It's funny that Miracles is still a deck. Yeah. I mean, at first, I think most people thought that there was no way it was going to continue to exist, but we've seen it on our stream quite a bit, and the deck is very powerful when piloted by a competent player. Nice. Is Lance winning another game? Yeah.
Yeah, this one right here.
Yep.
All right. And just in time, we've got the best shuffle cams around.
We can take a look at our other match real quick. Unfortunately, Painter died. Yes.
Yep.
That is definitely unfortunate. I love the Painter deck. And look, we get to see more lands. So I think
all lands all the time.
Our 2 lands players seem to be doing quite well today. I think this is Paul. I know this Matt.
And we have Calvin again. Calvin's got to be saying, oh no, not again.
Yeah. 2 lands matchups in a row. That's definitely not what Calvin wanted to see.
And it looks like we see a Dark Depths here as well, and that's going to be game on our back table.
Lands just tearing up our meta today, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Where are all our combo players when you need them? You've played against Painter almost just as much. Well, that's something fun about Legacy, though, right? Like, just because a deck dies doesn't mean that there aren't the people out there that don't care. You know?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, my deck's dead. Oh well. So what? Now I have to put 4 new cards in my deck.
Oh no.
Oh crap. All right. Let's head back and watch our other shuffle cam.
Fair enough, Jesse. Fair enough.
For sure. Yeah, my roommate played it for a while. He really liked it. Or still really likes it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Painter in general.
Me too. I'm a fan of artifact block decks.
It just does so many fun things, right?
I just don't like the Eldrazi versions. Yeah. The Eldrazi versions are boring to me. Whereas like Tezzeret and Painter versions are super sweet.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't seen it online yet since I started playing Legacy online, Jesse, but wouldn't surprise me if there are some players out there.
Been too busy with Nick's Fit.
I have been too busy with Nick's Fit.
Is there such a thing as too busy with Nick's Fit?
No.
Yeah.
Nick's Fit is so much fun. There's probably going to be a point where people are like, Kyra, have you forgotten about Jund? And there may be a point in time where I say yes. The deck is just so much fun.
All right, opening hands coming in.
Noah will be on the play.
And quickly sends that one back.
Yeah, not looking good for
Didn't
him.
look like there was any lands in that 7.
Looks like Thomas has a great hand. He's got exploration and crop rotation. I think he has a gamble as well. Have I tried Nick Shift? No.
No.
You want to send us a list? This is Nilla? All I know is the Nick's Fit version is just the the most fun. I love playing with Academy Rector.
Yep.
You like Sneak Fit?
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of Nick Fit variants. I love it.
All right. So some lands in hand. Noah's going to take his scry and put that to the bottom. And we're starting off with the Delver. Passing turn. All right. So Thomas starts out with the Mox Diamond.
Oh, this is the dinosaur one with Scape Shift. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Couple Valakits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, seems super cool, this Nilla. Yeah, we got it. Here, I can repost it. We always get the links.
Yep.
We just repost them after. Yep, really strong start from both players.
Delver flips. Tropical Highland into play. Passes turn back.
Ooh, Molten Vortex.
Ooh. So here comes a Molten Vortex.
It's going to pay a red, throw a land. Yeah, this needs to be countered.
And I don't see a counter that works for that in Noah's hand. Noah has a Daze, which Thomas is able to pay for, and he has a Spell Snare, of which Molten Vortex only costs 1 mana.
Right.
So down goes Delver to the Vortex.
Well, this is Nilla. I don't know if you've seen our Nyx Fit variant, but I recommend it as well. This looks like your list, so if you're interested in Nyx Fit or Nick Fit at all, the Nyx Fit version is a blast.
All right. And it looked like Noah drew a Mongoose, which is a great answer to that Molten Vortex. Starting off with a Ponder.
I don't know if it can give him a fast enough clock, though.
It's going to have to be online pretty quickly in order to do so, and it'll be interesting to see if he can get there.
In Kenor, you say Nyx Fit is the best version of Nick Fit. Have you been watching our streams of it, or did you feel that was the way it was before?
The 2 Curse 2 Garrick version.
The 2 Curse 2 Garrick. I actually recently put in the I changed it up a little from there, but you missed Reoccurring Nightmare. Yeah, no kidding. Well, I'll probably be streaming it a lot more. This is Nilla, so you'll have to come join us. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Body Double Rebel Arc, yeah. That's awesome. Oh, you think it's the most fun version? It's definitely the most fun version. I can vouch for that. I'm not sure if it's the best.
Yeah.
All I know is I like it a lot. And I consistently go positive with it, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than going positive with a deck that you like. You know. Especially if you put a little bit of time into trying to get it just right.
Yeah, I don't think I'm well seasoned with the deck at all. I keep playing it because I want to get better.
Mm-hmm. Down comes Tireless Tracker on Thomas's side, and that's going to get dazed.
Mm-hmm.
Noah passes back, or excuse me, Thomas passes back to Noah.
Where's that Mongoose?
He's thinking. Now I'm wondering. Here comes a Wasteland
On Grove.
on Grove. And passing back? Not yet. Thinking about it.
Now there's a ghost quarter in the yard, right?
Yeah.
Life from the Loam's going.
I wonder if Noah's just a little bit gun shy over last game getting tabernacled out of his creatures.
This is a matchup where you need to go for it, unfortunately. You need to play that tempo game. You're not going to win the long game. Yeah, he's considering... He's got a spell snare. He's thinking, okay, do I spell snare the Life from the Loam and get me another turn?
Yeah.
Or do I need to be proactive? Looks like he's just going to pass.
Yeah, just passes back. And on Thomas's side, I think you're pretty happy just kind of passing back and forth. Again, we've said it before, the longer this game goes, the more it benefits Thomas. So here comes that Mongoose down, finally able to be protected by Spell Snare.
Yes.
And then he opts to ponder.
Well, he doesn't really have to worry about the Mongoose dying.
True.
I don't think there's anything Thomas can really do at this point to get rid of that. Siggy, evening. Welcome in.
Hi, Siggy.
Life from the Vortex.
Life from the Vortex. Doing a very good Seismic Assault impersonation.
Mm-hmm. Gonna start with a brainstorm. He wants this nimble mongoose to be able to attack for 3 as soon as possible.
For sure, and that will be the last card necessary to get Threshold.
Yes. Now Thomas still has ways such as Bajuka Bog.
Sure.
To make it so the nimble mongoose's clock is just insignificant.
And interestingly enough, Daze looks okay here for the moment.
It does.
There's only 2 mana sources on Thomas's side of the board. So it's possible that these Dazes might still do a little bit of work, but only for the short term.
Alright, here's a gamble. Got out of work late. Sorry to hear that. Every time I hear that somebody couldn't play Legacy, when normally they could.
Heartbreak. Tear. Sad times.
It is sad times. I have people in our store come to me like, Kyre, you never play Legacy anymore. And I go, I get to play online a little bit. And they're like, yeah, but you're never going to play on Tuesdays and Fridays. And I go, sacrifices were made.
So
I'm still having a lot of fun.
Dark Depths hits the bin. Loam's in hand.
FNM is 3 rounds. Olin Chalice.
Mongoose keeps getting in there.
Noah, this is the game plan that Noah wanted to play.
Definitely.
He has tempo. He can just continuously hit with Nimble Mongoose, pass turn.
The question is, will he be able to do enough damage before this Dark Depths combo gets assembled? Here comes Spell Snare on the
Life from the Loam.
Life from the Loam.
I love it. He waits for every single target to be made. You know, no need to just fire it off.
Sure. And we see crop rotation, and is that a punishing fire in Thomas's hand?
I believe so.
And it looks like Noah's going to take a quick look at the graveyard and see what's going on.
Yeah, Jesse, that's exactly how I felt too. It's like his clock isn't quite fast enough. However, Thomas is having a rough time.
Yep.
A couple counter spells to stop Life from the Loam from going, and he's not progressing his game at all.
And
True Name Nemesis.
True Name down. That's exactly the threat that Noah needs.
Right, and we know that Noah has a couple dazes in hand, and I think 2 might be enough.
Might be. 2 will at least buy him 1 more turn.
So he may. Okay. Is this gonna be a double daze?
So if I were Noah, I'd definitely consider going for it, especially knowing that the tabernacle is in the graveyard. Because if you double daze here, that means he's not able to crop rotate into there we go. Double daze into tabernacle and potentially hurt your clock.
Yeah. So Noah puts Thomas down to 1 life. No burn spell.
2 lands in play. And we'll see if that is good enough. Tormod's Crypt comes into play. Does it? No, that's a Life from the Loam. Excuse me. And we're targeting
Thespian Stage, Dark Depths, Tabernacle.
Cool.
I think he can Chasm for 1 turn.
So Thomas needs to Chasm for a turn, right?
Yes.
And then he still has to deal with, he has to draw like a wasteland or something like that in order to get one of the threats off the board.
Right.
And play a longer game like that. He can stage the Chasm.
So trigger on the stack. And this is the Tabernacle trigger, to be clear.
Yep.
Noah's gonna fetch for a land. Grabs another tropical island.
Pays for both.
Draws his card.
And I see a Stifle.
I do too.
Quick attack by Noah. And incoming crop rotation.
Okay, Glacial Chasm. He has to sacrifice a land to do this, though.
Yep. And so Noah's kind of thinking things through.
It looks like Noah has Force of Will as well.
I think if you're Noah, you have to force this.
I agree.
I think he's just double checking, making sure what got sacrificed, how many lands do you have open.
Yep. Pitch Stifle the Force.
Yep. And what you got.
Yep. And we get a game 3.
Okay. 1-1. All right. Well, no one said it would be easy for either of these players.
No, that was a great game.
This is some grindy matchup. Definitely tight games.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good Magic played on both sides. I mean, this is the finals, right?
Yeah.
I know both of these guys personally. They are fantastic Magic players.
Dead probably without the force, but
yeah, it's possible.
There's no reason not to force there.
Right.
Like if there's something that gets Thomas back into the game, it's gonna come off of that crop rotation.
Siggy, I don't know if I would call lands a fair deck. It definitely has games where it looks like a fair deck, but all in all, usually it's winning with Dark Depths. I think anytime you're winning with Dark Depths, you're not really playing a fair game.
Mm-hmm.
Rug Delver is absolutely a fair deck.
Yep. Rug Delver is about as fair as you get in Legacy.
Yes. Lands is just such an interesting deck because it can play combo where you just like go into Merit Lage as fast as you can. I've seen it do it as early as turn 2, like Turbo Depths would.
Yeah.
It can also be a lock deck, which I see a Sphere of, or what's it called? Trinisphere,
yeah.
sorry. A Trinisphere, that's a card that's trying to lock out the game. Same with Punishing Fire. And not only that, but it can just try to grind out the game as well.
All right, so back underway here. See fetch lands on both sides of the board.
Mm-hmm. Lands is known for having a bad combo matchup though, and from the matches we've seen Thomas have, playing against a bunch of fair decks is really, really good for him.
Yeah.
You have Maverick and Black Red Reanimator. Yeah, those. I mean, Maverick has a very, very fair game. Reanimator is not a fair deck.
Yeah, Maverick's on the fair side.
It is
for sure.
It can still go into Dark Depths, but it doesn't typically do it very fast, and it's kind of like a one-outer. Mm-hmm. Maverick is generally a fair deck.
All right. Well, Thomas boldly cracks a fetch land into 2 open mana, fetches up a basic, and no responses from Noah there, so no stifle or attempt to stifle. And in comes Trinisphere.
Yeah, this isn't a card that Noah ever wants to have to deal with.
So
I imagine we're going to see a Daze.
Noah cracks in response. Gets the Tropical Island. And here comes a Brainstorm. Brainstorms into 2 lands and a Mongoose.
47-minute round 1, game 1. Ugh. Yeah, that is brutal. Maverick can definitely grind.
Yeah. There comes that Daze finally on the transfer. And as Noah, you have to get rid of that. You have to. There's no way that you can play off of 3 lands.
Not only that, but Thomas has already shown him, hey, look, I have a wasteland on board.
Yeah.
Like, not only do you need to hit your 3rd land, but you also need to combat this wasteland game that I can play. Yeah, Trinisphere is not something that he wants to play against.
In comes a Tarmogoyf. That Tarmogoyf is already a 3/4.
You have PTSD about cracking fetches against open mana versus Rug. Serious chills and sweats every time.
Yeah, I believe it.
I agree.
So here comes crop rotation. And stage is in play. This could be a quick 2020.
Yeah, and this is the unfair side of lands, you know.
Oh, here comes a
Yeah, he has to force
stifle.
this. He can't let that resolve. That's a big sign of weakness coming. That Noah's showing Thomas right there. He's literally saying, "Hey, I can't beat that, so I have to force it." And now that that's been forced, Thomas is looking at things like, "Oh, well, good to know. Maybe that's the game plan I want to go with."
At the same time, you know, you have to do everything you can do not to lose the game immediately on the spot. So I feel like Noah's kind of backed into that corner.
Right.
And we see both a Ghost Quarter and a Wasteland on board for Thomas. Those are going to act as strip mines for Noah. In comes Tarmogoyf. And tap those mana sources, add a Mongoose to the board.
Mongoose.
And Ponder. Ponders into Delver Brainstorm and a land. Not a bad ponder in this position.
Definitely not. However, Dark Depths is in hand for Thomas. He can just play Dark Depths and make it 2020.
Yep.
Is that a Wasteland? Does Noah have a Wasteland?
I think Noah might have a Wasteland. And he has not played a land yet this turn.
Yeah, Wasteland could make this a game.
Looks like he's thinking about it. Now, if Noah Wastelands stage, nope, we're seeing a fetch land come down. So turn pass back to Thomas. Thomas draws, plays a Dark Depths. Full combo is on board.
Yep, I agree. Not playing the Wasteland could easily kill him.
And activating right away, saying, you know, do you have the Stifle? We know that Noah does not. He used one of his Stifles as a pitch to Force of Will. And Noah starts staring at that Wasteland intently in his hand, going,
What was I doing, you know?
Oh, man.
Okay.
So, 2020 in play. And, yeah, he says, what can you do about that? So. Yep. He says, I can't do anything about that. I'm stuck with this Wasteland in hand.
Yeah, he decided not to play it, and it costed him the entire game.
Yeah.
And the match, for that matter.
Wow. Well,
so Thomas takes this down, takes the whole tournament down.
2-1 lands.
Yeah. Wow, I feel like Noah actually could have won that game.
Yeah, that was a really interesting one. It would have been interesting to see if Noah had wastelanded the stage, whether or not Thomas would have sacked his own Ghost Quarter on his own stage in order to get a green mana.
Yeah. Okay, so we do see the handshake. My bad. Why wouldn't he play the waste? I'm not sure.
You know,
that is a really good question.
Sometimes things just kind of pop into your head that and you forget about what's going on exactly, or what you thought about before.
So this would be my mindset, and I'm just trying to figure out the same, trying to find an answer for your question, Jesse. I see that my opponent tries to crop rotate into getting a 2020. The fact that they crop rotated for it tells me they don't have it in hand.
Yeah.
That's the way that they're going to go for it. Yeah, exactly. Raceland him saying it. Yeah, because of crop rot. So he's probably thinking, why do I need Wasteland?
Sure.
I'd rather have more lands.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, then undid it. Yeah, I'm not sure. That was really interesting. All right, guys, that is going to wrap up this FNM stream.
All right.
So, a couple quick reminders: we do Legacy Live Magic twice a week, Tuesday night and Friday night, which is the one you're watching at the moment. And then we also, between Brian, me, Patrick, and Bryce, us four are always here during the day doing MTGO for Legacy as well. We're just all Legacy all the time now. We used to have, we're not doing our standard streams at all anymore, at least for a while.
Legacy is better.
Because Legacy is better. So nothing but Legacy from this stream. So if you're new to the stream and you like watching Legacy, go ahead and give us a follow. That way you can know when we're live.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you soon. Hail Heroes.
Hail Heroes.